Hey everyone, and welcome. So you're running on DynamoDB, which is awesome. Your data is the lifeblood of your application. But have you really thought about what happens when things go sideways? Today, we're going to dive deep into how you can protect that data using DynamoDB's own backup and restore features. Let's get into it. Just think about it for a second. It's that cold sweat moment, right? A developer pushes a script, a variable is wrong, and poof, your production table is either totally scrambled or just gone. The reality is, it's not really a question of if something will go wrong, but when. And the real question is, how fast can you get back on your feet? We're calling this a data disaster scenario because, let's be honest, that's what it is. It could be a simple mistake, a bad deployment, whatever the cause. If you're running a serious application, having a recovery plan isn't just nice to have, it is absolutely non-negotiable. Now for the good news. DynamoDB has your back with some really powerful built-in tools. And here's the best part, and it's a big one, using them has absolutely zero impact on your application's performance. You can back everything up without your users even noticing a blip. That's huge. So what are these magical tools? Well, DynamoDB gives us two main ways to protect our data. Let's break them down and figure out when you'd use one versus the other. So on one side, you've got on-demand backups. On the other, you have point-in-time recovery, or what we all call PITR. The easiest way to wrap your head around this is with an analogy. Think of on-demand like taking a photograph, a perfect snapshot. And PITR? That's like having a high-def security camera that's always recording and you can just hit rewind. Let's talk about the photograph first. An on-demand backup is just that, a full, complete snapshot of your entire table exactly as it was the moment you hit the button. This is your go-to for anything long-term, for meeting those pesky regulatory rules or just for deep archival storage. So what do you get? Well, you can kick one off anytime you want with a simple API call. It backs up the entire table, not just some of it. You can make as many of these as you want, there's no limit. And best of all, DynamoDB handles all the storage and management for you. It's really simple and incredibly robust for those permanent records. Okay, now for the security camera. Point-in-time recovery, or PITR, is a totally different game. You literally just flip a switch to turn it on, and DynamoDB starts continuously and automatically backing up your table. This isn't for keeping data for 7 years. Nope, this is your emergency undo button for those recent oops moments, like that bad script we were just talking about. So if it's a security camera, just how far back can you rewind the tape? The answer is pretty darn far. It's this number. That's right, 35 days. Once you enable PITR, you have this rolling 35-day window where you can restore your table to any single second. The precision here is just incredible. If that bad script ran at 2:31 and 5 seconds p.m., you can restore your table to its perfect state at 2:31 and 4 seconds p.m. Wow. All right, so those on-demand backups are great for compliance. But clicking a button every day or every week sounds like a pain, right? Yeah, it is. And that's exactly where another service, AWS Backup, steps in to save the day. Now, super important point here. AWS Backup is not a third type of backup. Think of it as a control panel, a powerful management layer that sits on top of the on-demand feature we just talked about. It takes that simple tool and gives it some serious enterprise-level muscle. And here are those superpowers. With AWS Backup, you can set up schedules. Take a backup every night at midnight. You can create rules to automatically delete old backups, or even move them to much cheaper cold storage to save money. You can copy backups to other regions for disaster recovery, and even lock them down so they can't be deleted. It's the whole shebang. Okay, backing things up is one thing, but a backup is totally useless if you can't restore it, right? So let's look at how you actually bring your data back from a disaster. From a bird's eye view, the process seems pretty simple. You pick your source, either an on-demand snapshot or a specific point in time. You give the new table a name and some settings, and you hit restore. But there's one crucial detail in here you absolutely have to know. And this is it. Memorize this. It applies to both on-demand backups and point-in-time recovery. You are always, and I mean always, restoring to a brand new table. So let me say that again. The restore process is non-destructive. DynamoDB will never, ever let you overwrite your existing table by accident. It forces you to create a new one. And honestly, this is a fantastic safety feature. It prevents you from making a bad situation even worse in a moment of panic. Now, here's the gotcha. Because you're making a new table, it's kind of like a blank slate in terms of configuration. All this stuff, your auto-scaling roles, your IAM permissions, your CloudWatch alarms, TTL, none of that comes over automatically. You have to set it all up again on the new table. And please don't forget to re-enable PITR on your newly restored table. Okay, we've looked at the tools, we've walked through the restore process, so how do you actually put this all together and build a smart backup strategy for your own application? This table really sums it all up beautifully. On Demand is your go-to for long-term archival, and you manage it either by hand or with AWS Backup. PITR is your safety net for recent accidents, and it's totally automatic. Set it and forget it. Look at that key difference in the recovery point. A specific snapshot versus any second in the last 35 days. They are built for two very different jobs. And that brings us to the final, and I think best recommendation. The ultimate strategy isn't about choosing one or the other. It's about using both together. You enable PTR on all your production tables for that day-to-day operational safety. Then you use AWS Backup to schedule regular on-demand snapshots to handle all your long-term compliance and archival needs. So there you have it. The tools are there, they're powerful, and they won't slow you down. The only question left is the one you see right here. Now that you know how it all works, is your disaster recovery plan really ready for that unexpected moment? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.